Welcome to the Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Lock Shop. If you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. We're going to get some Brier thoughts, obviously, from Huss. We are going to dive into our NHL best bets as well. We'll keep tabs on the trade deadline, which is just around the corner tomorrow. One trade happening this morning, not involving the Oilers or Jets, but we will get to that as well. The Lock Shop is live, presented by our partners over at Coolbet Canada, where on Sunday night's next Lock Shop Poker Series event. Very much looking forward to this. I will be streaming it right here on the Edmonton Sports Talk YouTube channel, and I will have a bounty on my head. Hustle will have a bounty on his head. Remo will have a bounty on his head. I think we might get a bounty on old Gazzola's head. So yeah, it should end up being a pretty good time. Very much looking forward to it. We're doing it on a Sunday. There's no Oilers, there's no Jets, and it's a 7 o'clock Sunday evening start. So mark it in your calendars to join us on that one. Let's bring in Mr. 1000 Shows here. Hey, Mr. 1000 Shows. Huss, how did it go yesterday, buddy? I popped in during the marble race briefly. I saw Remo had a top 10 finish.
Yeah, and he never gets a marble. I said, You know what, for today, Remus, put yourself in. Let's see how you do.
I instantly was going to accuse him of rigging it. You know, that's what I was going to do.
Well, that's why he goes, no, I don't want to do that. Everyone's going to get all over me when I do well. But yeah, no, it was awesome. And you know what? I mean, I know you guys hear it all the time too. We've been doing it long enough now that, this is our jobs and we do it every day, but, it was the comments and, tweets and texts, that we got it was just great. It was a really fun show. The mediation with Gary Lawless worked out, and he, finally agreed to come on the program. We had some other great guests. Wyshynski came on, and obviously it's a fun time. Going into tomorrow, which again, we're going to be doing some special programming on both of our channels with the trade deadline. So, it was just a great time to do it. Our fourth anniversary is actually on Saturday. But we just figured with the 1000th show, we'd sort of kind of celebrate it all and then get back to business for the next couple days. So, yeah, going to be a fun one tomorrow. We'll be going live at 11 a.m. Winnipeg time. And I guess you're going to crank out a little bit of an extra oil stream.
2-hour oil stream, deadline oil stream from basically right now up until about 10 minutes after the deadline, just in case anything sort of breaks right during 1 o'clock. We don't want to be transitioning between shows. And then we'll get you into EST afternoons to follow with all of the recapping. I just got to give Jen a quick shout out in the chat over on YouTube. Are you sure you're streaming, Dusty? You've been flaky with that for the poker tournament. Like, I was sick twice. I am, unless I get sick between now and Sunday, I am streaming Sunday night, Jen. All right. So I will have a screen cap of me eliminating you, Jen, from the tournament. Now it's gotten personal. I'm coming after Jen. And to put a bounty on Jen's head, because I'm coming to get it. God, that's funny.
Taking a few scuds from the chat. Well, that's the world we live in today, Dusty.
It is.
But yes, Sunday night, I'm pumped. Actually, we got an afternoon Jet game. I think they play in Carolina. I think the game starts at 3 or so. It'll give people a chance to have dinner or whatever. And then 8 p.m. Winnipeg time, 7 o'clock in Edmonton. Move it up an hour. I think that'll be better. Listen, I can tell you from personal experience, being second place in our last tourney.
Yes.
That once it gets down to the nitty gritty with the, with the final table and whatnot, it can take a little bit. So I think everyone will appreciate. Oh, and it's probably a great time to do it an hour earlier, because if I'm not mistaken, I'm not usually good with these dates, but I think we're springing ahead.
We are
this weekend, which,
my kids are all over it. They're all over it. They're like, Daddy, spring ahead this weekend. I can't wait.
Get up an hour earlier. Or I guess technically an hour later if you sleep the same amount. It is confusing. What's not confusing is put it in your calendar, remind yourself, or go in right now, download the Coolbet Poker if you haven't already. Go into tournaments, search Lock Shop, lock yourself in for the latest Lock Shop Poker tourney. And as I say, there's only one way I can improve on my performance in last tournament.
The belt.
And that's win the whole damn thing.
The belt.
So,
yes.
I'm ready to go. There's still some remnants of that magic water of Costa Rica, with me. So we'll take it from there. By the way, I was just gonna get into seeing the board very well in the Brier. Banged out another 3-gamer.
I do want to get to the Brier. Do you want to go Brier right now? Let's just go Brier right now. Why not?
Let's do it.
Let's just get to Brier, because let me just lay this out. Some things I want to discuss here. Brier is on the list, so we might as well get there right now. The leaderboard at the Honor Palmer, some guys are taking it on the chin today. We'll get to that. Like some big names. Back to you, 7 over. Pendy 7 over.
What?
Billy Ho 7 over. Like,
okay, let's go to this right now.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll go here then.
I'm going to have this hanging around.
So here's what we are. Cam Young is 10 over through 17. Max Homa is 9 over. Am I seeing this right? This is it. Yes. Max Homa is 9 over. Batia 7 over. Billy Ho 7 over. Pendy shot a 79. Sahith Tagala shot a 78. Minwoo Lee shot a 78. Tom Kim shot a 78. Sung Jae and Jason Day shot 76s. And then up at the top, Cam Davis, Keegan Bradley, Denny McCarthy, all 3 under right now. Sepp Straka, who I did lock in as my play of the day yesterday, a top 20 at plus 130. He's sitting even through 4. But Huss, what's up with these? Was there like a big weather? Was it the weather a major issue? What happened this morning? What's going on here?
This is an absolute bloodbath.
Yeah, what is going on? This is nuts.
I've been doing some pre-tapes and I hadn't checked it so far. And this is absolutely shocking. And you know what's so crazy is that, you kind of rolled out some of these guys, like top players that are getting absolutely murdered. And then you look at the top of the leaderboard and it's not that group that was in the 10 to 20 to 25 odds. I mean, Cam Davis is leading 3 under through 14 when everyone else is shooting near 80. Pretty damn impressive. Keegan Bradley, 3 under as well. Denny McCarthy's there. And the only other guys under par are Morikawa. He's played 12. He's 1 under. Mac Hughes, nice to see a Canadian flag up on the leaderboard. He's 1 under at 9. Max Greiserman and Bezadenhout. And other than that, it's I mean, to put it into perspective, Ludwig Oberg and Scotty Scheffler, both even. That has them tied for 8th right now. JT, Rory about to go off. Corey Connors has just got going. Sepp has just got going. They're both even right now. So those are some numbers I did not expect to see. I mean, we know this is a challenging course, but it's obviously the weather, course conditions are really, really making it difficult. Other guys to go off this afternoon, they are still some of the top players. Yeah. JT, Xander, Lowry, Rory, Cantlay, Sam Burns, Justin Rose, amongst the guys still left to tee off. But I guess I can burn that 80-1 Akshay ticket that I put that little extra sprinkle on, where we can safely say we're down to 2 bullets. Oberg and Justin Thomas. Oberg's in a pretty good spot right now, and obviously JT has not teed off yet. But it is definitely a big boy tourney right now. It's funny. I was looking at our number for the parlay, and I thought, geez, it's pretty low. But then I realized that we're talking top 20s in a field of 60. Yeah. So you just hope that our guys don't get sucked into that massacre. So who do we have? We've got Rory.
We did 4. We did Rory,
JT,
Oberg, JT, and
I can check it.
Who's the other one that we had? It was because we added Rory at the end. It was
Hideki.
Oh yeah, Hideki. That was my guy. 25-1. Yeah.
So of all those guys right now, Hideki's +2 through 13, still very much in it. And then the other guys are either even or playing a little later on. So luckily,
stunning board right now, though. That's crazy.
Luckily, we didn't have Akshay in the partner parlay.
That would have sucked. To lose the partner parlay at 11 a.m. on the Thursday Edmonton time, that would suck. That would suck big time. So that's still alive. All right, Huss. Anything else in golf, or should we slide on over to the Brier before we get into a bunch of hockey talk?
Yeah. Let's get over to the Brier right now. And here are your standings right now as we get into this afternoon's. Well, I guess technically it's all in Kelowna, so this is the morning draw that's just underway right now. A week ago, we were breaking down the odds. We had John Cullen on, and it was Jacobs was the favorite, Dunstone was second, and then Brad Gushue was third. And if you recall, at the beginning of last week, Gushue opened at plus 450. And I'm like, Gushue at the Brier plus 450? We haven't seen a number like that in 5 years. But they just hadn't been very good. They lost all their games in their last event. It just seems like you put Brad Gushue back at the Brier, and whatever happened leading up to it, completely forgotten. Canada is on top of that division right now, I guess Pool A, if you will. And then two really strong Manitoba teams. I mean, Reed Carruthers has had a nice run so far. He did lose to Epping earlier, but bounced back with some big wins. But 7-0 is Gushue. Dunstone is 6-1. Carruthers 6-2. And then John Epping, who had that great start, he's at 5-2. Cooey, BC, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, and Nunavut pretty much done, finishing out. Now, over in Pool B, we've got two undefeated teams. So it will come down to the Saskatchewan-Alberta matchup, Jacobs and Mike McEwen. And what's interesting about this, as opposed to the other side, there's no clear third place team right now. You've got Nova Scotia, the other Saskatchewan team, the Kleider rink, the Ontario rink, and Quebec are all 3-3. Kind of angry about Quebec. The Afternoon Delight yesterday had two awesome spread picks that hit, and then Quebec lost to Nova Scotia as a minus 192 favorite. So not pleased with Felix Asselin right now.
This has to be the only show in the country where you hear the sentence, not pleased with Felix Asselin right now.
Thursday. So here's what's happened so far today. Well, right now, Nova Scotia and Nunavut are playing right now. I'm just looking to see the key games. PEI, Ontario, Alberta is tied with Quebec right now. And then Saskatchewan, and I believe, I'm going to pull up Curling Zone. It's better because it's got the players. So yeah, Jacobs and Asselin. Jacobs will be a big favorite in that one, looking to go to 7-0. And then this afternoon, which will be 2:30 Edmonton, 3:30 Winnipeg time, is draw 17. So there's two draws left after this. This is the big one. And we'll get odds in just a minute. Dunstone versus Gushue. So Dunstone, and I'm sort of really pulling for Dunstone in this one because if you recall, we did have that special last week where it was Dunstone to win his pool, Jacobs to win his pool. If Jacobs can take care of business, he'll win his pool. He's still undefeated. And then if Dunstone can beat Gushue, they'll both be 7-1. Dunstone would have the head-to-head tiebreaker, so would win the pool. So we're still looking pretty good on that. And then the evening draw this evening is Jacobs and McEwen. And both of those teams, presuming Jacobs beats Quebec in this draw, will both be 7-0, and the winner will take the pool. So basically, as long as Jacobs takes care of business in this match against Quebec that's going on right now, for that exclusive, we'll need a Dunstone win and a Brad Jacobs win, and that can come in. Let's just see if the afternoon draws are up yet right now. They certainly are. All right. So, wow, Dunstone, despite Gushue being 7-0, and again, I'm pulling for our Manitoba guys, I bet him for the win. But I got to tell you, if I had no skin in the game watching what Gushue's done so far and seeing a plus 140 hung beside his team at the Brier, I think I'd know where I'd be going. And it's amazing. It's minus 115 on either side with Manitoba minus 1.5. That's
crazy.
Game. It really is. It really is. Manitoba, Dunstone's minus 189. And as I mentioned, Gushue's plus 140 Cooey's minus 455 against Newfoundland and Labrador. I've actually won the last 2 bets taking Newfoundland, not to win, but plus the points. They seem to be, I mean, they've got a young guy, Ty Diallo, who I believe was playing out of Manitoba, is from around here, that's skipping their team. And they went the distance against Dunstone, lost by only 1, and they've been like 3.5 and 4.5 rock underdogs. They're plus 3.5 in that matchup against Cooley. Cooley had that terrible start, has sort of found his way since then. BC minus 1.5 at minus 120 or minus 208 on the money line against New Brunswick. And Northern Ontario and Nunavut, it is Johnny Epping minus 119 for minus 5.5. So Epping's situation is this. Just to go back to the standings here for a minute. If he was in the other pool at 5-2, he'd be pretty much already locked into a playoff spot. But he needs to win that matchup. And then, the thing is, he might be out because I know Carruthers did beat Epping. So unless it's a 3-way tie, he might be up against it. But pretty good chance we'll see the 2 Manitoba teams coming through along with Gushu. And Reed Carruthers is already done, having played his 8 games so far, and they can just rest up. And then later on today, 7-0 for Mike McEwen. Brad Jacobs, assuming he wins this one right now, will be 7-0 as well. Winner to take that. And as they say, if you got on it early with us, we're rolling with Dunstone and Jacobs today to try to catch that pre-tourney exclusive that we had up in the lock shop.
Huss, I got to tell you, I was distracted the entire time because a guy in the handle, Splitty Rooney, in the nasty chat referred to you as Brier Tuck, which is just an all-time handle. You're sitting
Brier
here
Tuck,
breaking down the Brier.
Wings.
Brier Tuck. Let's get to the curling update with Brier Tuck. God.
Hey, just speaking of Brier Tuck, I have to ask you, and I'll put this out to the chat as well. This is hashtag not sports.
Yeah.
But did you as a kid, did you ever see the cartoon Rocket Robin Hood?
Are you talking about Robin Hood, the Disney movie, or Rocket Robin Hood?
Rocket Robin Hood.
No, Robin Hood, the Disney movie, is my favorite Disney movie of all time, but I've never seen this Rocket Robin Hood.
This isn't a Disney movie at all. This is an animated cartoon that was done by some guys that I'm convinced were taking major drugs before they wrote these episodes. And it was on, like here in Winnipeg, it was on routinely, I think, in the morning. It was kind of in syndication. I'm sure that it had probably been put together like in the 80s at some point, but then it just kept playing for a while because they had it. And the reason I say this is they had like a few scenes that they would play every show. And Friar Tuck, one of the guys in the Rocket Robin Hood posse, they'd have this big, massive feast, and it had this big bird or whatever. And he'd grab this huge drumstick, and he would just take one bite and then throw it over his shoulder, and then do it over and over again. I don't know. Let's see if anyone else has.
Matt Hyman says he used to watch it.
Oh,
yeah.
Matt Hyman, yes. Rocket Robin Hood was on CFRN here in Edmonton, I believe.
I don't remember this. I mean, I guess I was in BC and we had like CBC and CTV, but I don't remember Rocket Robin Hood.
I'm just looking right now. Yeah, Rocket Robin Hood, Friar Tuck. Oh yeah, all the videos are up on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I've seen it on YouTube too. There he is. Maybe I do remember this a little bit.
If you want to see this is it, the Rocket Robin Hood Friar Tuck, and the guy just says, "This guy was cool," and then they've got the feature. It's a 43 second thing. He's eating an apple. These bad guys are in there. So, anyways, if you want to trip out for a little bit this afternoon on your work break, just go down the Rocket Robin Hood rabbit hole of YouTube, folks, and thank me later for that.
Thank me later for that one. Huss, that's too good. Brier Tuck is one of the best handles I've ever heard in my entire life. That's legendary.
Let's hope Brier Tuck can keep on serving up some winners. I've had a nice 3-gamer the last 2 days. And as I said, barely missed being perfect yesterday. It was the upset of Nova Scotia over Quebec that screwed up the other ticket. But it's just so nice. I mean, the plus 818 one from 2 nights ago.
That stabilizes.
You bang on an 8-1er on the same night as the Lock Shop Partner Parlay comes in, and needless to say, it's put me in a great spot coming into the weekend in the old account right now. So we'll get ready for these games tonight. Again, if you're on that exclusive, we need Dunstone to beat Gushu, and then we need Jacobs to beat McEwen. And if that is the case, by my calculations, we will win and I'm just looking to see what that number was as well for, again, this was done a little while ago. I think it got boosted to plus 264. Oh, plus 285. Nice. That was a nice little combo card.
Before we slide over to the NHL, and Dumoulin got traded today, we'll get to some of this stuff. What do you make of DK Metcalf requesting the trade in Seattle? Apparently, the asking price is a first and a third. He's going to want a contract that comes with about $30 million. Is there an ideal landing spot for him? Do you think there'll be a bunch of suitors for DK?
Well, listen, I mean, elite receivers, if you consider DK one of those.
He's close. He's close, yep.
He's close. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I put it this way. If I'm spending $30 million on a receiver, I kind of feel like I could get a better guy than him. Although, I mean, obviously quarterbacking, I just have
I'm intrigued to see him somewhere else. You know, I want to see him in another offense, different setup, different QB, you know, just to see.
Yeah, like I don't think he's going to turn into AJ Brown when he goes to another team. I mean, I guess there are some situations with great quarterbacks and offenses that maybe he could be that productive. I've always been sort of on the fence on DK. Like, he has massive games, but then there are other games where he's just sort of invisible.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that Seattle, with what they have right now, is basically not looking at signing him. So, I mean, you can take some of that as well. Speaking of NFL, one other thing, I'm not sure if you saw this. The Browns have restructured the contract of quarterback Deshaun Watson, creating nearly $36 million in 2025 cap space. I guess you could say that they're massaging the numbers, Dusty.
Brier Tuck strikes again. Can you believe it? Oh, that's a good one. I mean, that just writes itself. I just tweeted out a picture that got texted to me. Somebody took our screen cap and put Brier Tuck over your name. And it's great because, like, you look like in a full-blown Brier Tuck mode, and I've got my hat off and my hair is just all over the place. I just tweeted it out. It's funny. It's well done. Who said that one? And somebody texted, "Hey, where is it?" Tell me, at Sobkirk. Well done, Sobkirk. That's funny stuff.
Brier Tuck. That one, that we might have to keep that one in the chamber for the remainder of the curling season.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I think the Chargers were linked to him. I know Lieutenant Eric today was like, as a Bills fan, he's like, oh man, I don't think we'd pay somebody like that, but you know, it'd be a big piece there. So the first and a third, I don't know if they'll get a first and a third. They can ask for a first and a third, but somebody will go after him for sure.
I'm not sure I wouldn't rather have a first round pick to like, if I'm Seattle, I think I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah.
Pick a receiver in the first round, try and get first round talent. And then, you know, third round picks, this isn't an NHL third round pick that, you know, has a 25% chance of making it. I mean, third round picks play, and they often play in their rookie year.
Usually play right away.
In the National Football League, and help you big time with the cap. So I'll be very interested to see how that figures out.
All right, let's get to the National Hockey League tonight. First thing I want to check on in NHL tonight, the Rantanen number down to minus 135. Huss, the Rantanen numbers minus 135. Carolina minus 105. Any other team?
Holy smokes.
How about the movement on this over the last week?
This is going to be we'll be talking about this trade and potentially these trades of Rantanen for years. I mean, that trade when he was dealt for Nakash and Drury was, I think, the biggest in-season trade of star players probably since Joe Thornton. And you could argue that the Thornton trade was huge that he moved, but really San Jose was sort of giving a package back. These were two guys in the top 10 in scoring. Like Nakash was the leading scorer on Carolina, along with the third line.
He's
center.
a great player, man. I love Nakash. I was surprised when they moved him in the first place. Without a guarantee of a Rantanen contract, I guess I should add to that.
The thing is, I think this is all done because they haven't been able to and didn't think they were going to be able to sign Nakash. And they were talking about a deal with him for Ehlers last summer. And apparently I don't think that happened because Nakash wasn't ready to extend here in Winnipeg. So he's got that 2-year deal. Now, maybe he fits in Colorado and he loves it so much he's able to get it done. But it sort of seemed like he was making his play to get to unrestricted free agency and then figured it out. And I get it. I mean, teams don't want to lose guys for nothing. But, I mean, if you're a cup contender thinking that you have the ability to win a championship, you're not trading your top scorer unless you think that it makes you better this year. And I think they really did think that with Rantanen. But now I guess there's somewhat buyer's remorse because I think they just assumed that they would put that money on the table. Rantanen would take it. But he's in a pretty good spot right now, knowing. And I read a really interesting article yesterday at Puckpedia by Steve Warrior, who's actually a friend. He used to be the AGM of the Florida Panthers. Said that Rantanen, if he was Rantanen's agent, and wouldn't be surprised if there is some machinations on this, if you want to take slightly more risk and add in a little bit of an insurance, he could sign just a 1-year deal, maybe a 1-year deal for max term this year with whoever he signs with. And then after the trade deadline, ink an 8-year extension. So essentially go for 9 years, getting paid the big money. And there are some teams that would sign up probably to get him in their room at, a 15, a 16, a $17 million run. So
I gotta stop you. The Coolbet account just tweeted out a Photoshop version of you as Brier Tuck, and you have to go look at this thing right now.
Oh, I can't believe they're doing me like this.
God,
well,
Jake, Jake, that is greasy, man.
Did Jake do that?
Yeah, Jake in the chat's like, wait until Huss sees what I just posted. LOL. Oh my God! Maybe when you're rolling like you're rolling right now. I mean, Brier Tuck is the handle, and that's the thing. Like, God, that is too funny, man. God, Jake. Oh my goodness.
All
right.
Well, we'll remember this episode for a while.
Sure. I think we will.
You know what the good thing is? I get revenge on all you jabronis on Sunday night in the poker tournament. I'm going to remember this. This one's
that's right. Yeah, I'm sure somebody will come up with a sick nickname for you in the poker tournament too. We'll have to see. Okay, there was one trade in the National Hockey League today. Edmonton and Winnipeg not involved, but here's the deal. The New Jersey Devils are getting Brian Dumoulin, Herman Traff, and a second-round pick are going to the Ducks. Ducks are retaining 50%, and the condition on that draft pick is it'll be the earlier of the Edmonton pick or the Winnipeg pick. So New Jersey's got both of our city's picks, and one of those will be going to the Ducks. I watched Dumoulin the other night against Edmonton. I was wondering, I think Dumoulin's a pretty sneaky pickup for the Devils. I thought maybe the others should maybe dive in on the Dumoulin sweepstakes.
Here's the thing. Great. They get Brian Dumoulin. Can he play 1C?
Jack Hughes, yeah.
I got no Jack Hughes. That is devastating. Like Jersey had sort of been falling back to the pack as it was. I mean, if you look right now at the standings, Jets are in Jersey tomorrow to take to play them. Like New Jersey's third in the division, but the Blue Jackets are 4 points back with 2 games in hand and playing really well right now. The Rangers are 5 back with 1 in hand. And I mean, even I guess the Islanders now, the Islanders feel like they're in it because they are just 3 back of the Red Wings who have that final spot. Huge games for the Wings tonight.
Yep.
They're a plus 115 home dog against Utah.
That seems fishy. Seems like nothing against Utah, but that seems a little fishy. What are we missing there?
I mean, Utah, they lost to the Devils 3-1. They'd won their previous 3 against the Wild, Blackhawks, and Canucks. And Detroit, well, Detroit had those 2 tough losses against the Blue Jackets and then lost to the Hurricanes. Like, this is a must-win for Detroit, I would say. Who do we have the goalies yet?
I got the goalies right here. Let me whip you through. Well, first of all, just quickly, because we're on this game, then I'll give you all of them. But where are the goalies here for this one tonight? Lots of games here. Oh, Alex Lyon is likely. Connor Ingram unconfirmed. It's right at the top. Find all your starting goalies over at Puckpedia. So, yeah, Lyon confirmed, or likely, which pretty much means confirmed. And then Connor Ingram is unconfirmed at this point.
I'll tell you what, I mean, I have a hard time not jumping on Detroit at plus 115. I mean, this is like a playoff game for these guys after what happened with them against the Blue Jackets. They got to take advantage of it. Columbus is a real tough game tonight. They're in Florida to take on the Panthers. And knowing that it's not just those teams right now, because as I mentioned, you've got the teams like the Rangers knocking on the door right now. And listen, race is going to go down to the final week, but you can easily play yourself out of it right now. I mean, you lose 4 games in a row or something like that, and all of a sudden, teams pass you, and you're not there. I'm really hoping Columbus can get this done and make the wild card spot right now. You know what would be interesting? We should talk to the guys about it. It would be really neat to see playoff odds in the East right now, and maybe playoff odds, for Vancouver, Calgary, St. Louis,
playoff
Utah.
Race specials. Yeah.
Dog will be like checking out the schedules and where things at. I have a feeling they'll probably wait on that until after the trade deadline. But, coming out of the weekend, it would be fun on Monday's show before things get going again to maybe talk about the different playoff odds. And get in on a couple of quarter season futures, if you will. We'll see whether that might be possible. But the Sens got it done last night. And, man, you talk about needing a win. I mean, that was touch and go. They had to beat the Blackhawks in OT. And unfortunately, the Rangers lost in OT, which nuked the parlay. But I took a Stützle over to Stützle anytime goal. I was going to take Brady Tkachuk, and I'm like, well, Brady Tkachuk's only plus 120. Stützle's plus 174. And then Tkachuk scores 2 minutes into the game. And I'm kicking myself the entire time. And then, very controversial, I don't know if you saw it, the overtime goal where he rushed the net and then basically pushed it in with his skate, but there was no kicking motion. The fans at United Center were losing their minds.
Yeah.
I wasn't, though. Cash it, plus 174 for the anytime goal. And it kept us going right now. But Ottawa's in that spot. They are 1 back of the Columbus Blue Jackets. They both played 61 games. They've got 1 point on Detroit with even games played. And then the Rangers are at 67 as well, but they played that extra game. So this race between Columbus, Ottawa, Rangers, Detroit. I mean, if you want, I guess you got to include Montreal. I mean, they're at 65. With 61 points. The Bruins, that number for the Bruins would be a lot bigger because they played the 2 extra games. I mean, that is absolutely massive. And I know the Islanders fancy themselves as in it right now, but you're still talking about passing 4 teams before you get to a wild card.
Yeah. Are you really in it?
Hopefully Lou will see that, acknowledge acknowledge reality and trade Brock Nelson to the Winnipeg Jets.
All right, let's. So we like Detroit. Laid out the starting goalie there. Let me give you the rest of the starting goalies here for tonight. Samuel Ersson will start for the Flyers. Eric Comrie is going for the Jets. Vasilevsky confirmed to start for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Likely Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen for the Sabres. Kochikov and Korpisalo in that Boston-Carolina game. Bobrovsky will start for the Panthers. Merzlikins for the Columbus Blue Jackets. UC Saros at home tonight. He'll start for the Nashville Predators. Joey Decord listed as likely for the Kraken on the road. Jake Ottinger will start for the Dallas Stars. Vladar going to go for Calgary. Stuart Skinner will start for the Edmonton Oilers. Montembeault unconfirmed at this point. And Mackenzie Blackwood confirmed to start for Colorado. Georgiev unconfirmed for San Jose right now. So we like Detroit. It's a nice number. They're at home, and it's a plus money dog at home. So Detroit at plus 115, already in the mix. Who else are we looking at here, Huss?
God, I forgot this was the Oilers-Habs games tonight. Yeah. What did I say? I was going to be betting Connor McDavid 3 points in this game.
Got to sprinkle it a bit, I guess. He had 2 last game.
It's only plus 265. I'm telling you, he's going off tonight. I would, I know everyone is very down on the Oilers right now, and they've looked really ugly. This has to be a big, big night. A huge bounce back game after that embarrassing game the other day. Like minus 244 is whatever we said yesterday. This was going to be like minus 250. I might consider, maybe not for the parlay, but Oiler puck line at plus 102. I like the Preds tonight at minus 130, especially after the Kraken just got rid of Gourde and Oliver Bjorkstrand yesterday. The Predators have actually, despite being done probably, 3 months ago, they just smoked the Bruins 6-3. I guess they did just lose back-to-back in New York and the Islanders. But, man, UC Saros was brilliant against the Jets last week. They had a recent win against the Avalanche. To me, at home against the Kraken at minus 130, I can definitely get with the Nashville Predators. Dallas home to Calgary. Oh, geez, I would love to see Calgary win this game.
I don't think it's happening, though, man. I think this is a Dallas game. They're 23-7-1 at home. You said it. They've been playing extremely well.
Yeah, no, they have. Just those 244s are such big numbers.
I know. Parlay, it's not the end of the world if we got plus money in there already.
Yeah, well, actually, that's good. Let's get the Wings on there. So it's plus 280. To be honest, though, if we were going to take a minus 244 favorite for the parlay, I would rather take Tampa over Buffalo than Dallas over Calgary.
I love both of those ones tonight. Both those teams are in really good spots right now, Dallas and Tampa. So, so what do we got? We got Detroit, we got Nashville.
Yeah, and if we put Tampa on it, it's plus 436. Yeah, we'll be getting close. We'll be getting close to 5-1.
Yeah, I think that's. If I want to be a greedy boy, what if you throw the Stars in there as well? Just curious.
If we threw the Stars in there, plus 656.
Probably unnecessary. The original number get boosted like 5-1, right? So. Yeah,
exactly. We'll be very close to that. Again, if you want to do that, I think we'll load up the 3-gamer like we normally do. But again, listen, I like those 3 picks. If you want to really swing for the fences outside of the partner parlay, add in, there's 3 teams that are minus 244 tonight. If you add Dallas and you add Edmonton, you're just about a 10-1. So if you like the Wings and the Nashville pick, plus 115 for Detroit, minus 130 for Nashville, and these are all home teams. Add one or all of Tampa. Well, Tampa's going to be in the partner parlay, but if you want to add in Dallas and Edmonton, again, just to win, these are all money line bets. You can get close. You know what? Maybe just because we're talking about this right now, I will definitely play the partner parlay. But let's put a little sprinkle down here at 9. What do we got here? 966. Let's go 2069. And that's only because I had an extra 69 cents on the thing.
Kicking around there. Might as well toss it in.
If you put in, I mean, if you just put in $20 on that, it'll return 213. And if you put in 2069, it returns 219.58.
Nice. Another trade in the National Hockey League, just quickly. Florida using up their, not a major one, but Florida using up this Matt Tkachuk LTIR space. Nico Sturm going from San Jose to Florida, along with a 7th round pick for a 4th round pick. Sturm so far with the Sharks this year, 47 games, 7 goals, 6 assists, 13 points, and is only -4 on a San Jose team that is much, much worse than that. So Nico Sturm, 29 years old, 6'3", 210, a bit of a bigger body, going to the Florida Panthers.
The Panthers, man, that Seth Jones trade that they made was huge. And how about Tampa? I mean, I know this was just sort of happening when there was so much going on. We didn't really dive into it too much. The Tampa getting Gourde and Bjorkstrand, trading 2 first-rounders.
And a 2nd.
Whew.
Yeah, and Michael Eyssimont, who I like as a 4th liner. But 2 firsts and a 2nd. And then Eyssimont, like that's a pretty good price because Yanni Gourde is a UFA, but I think there's a pretty good chance Yanni Gourde doesn't mind going to Tampa to maybe wrap up his career for the second half of it. And obviously they're familiar with him. And then Bjorkstrand's got a year left next year. So I think it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't insane. That's 2 legitimate top 9 guys that Tampa just added to their roster. And they've already got, like, if you look at Tampa, like their roster, you look at them, you go, there's some empty spots in that bottom 6. And not anymore. I mean, those are 2 guys who can step in and are very reliable for you.
Coop loves Gourde as well. I mean, obviously he was a big part of their success before he got picked by Seattle in the expansion draft. So he's going back home. Bjorkstrand definitely is a guy that, can help you, add offense and win. And I don't know whether I said this on Lock Shop yesterday or whether I said it on WST, but Julien Brisebois is giving me major Les Snead vibes. The GM of the Rams, after they traded all their picks and then won the Super Bowl and then showed up at the parade with a F them picks t-shirt on, saying that you don't need draft picks.
Yeah,
anymore.
Penner's Pancakes pointing out that they've only drafted twice in the first round in the last 10 years.
I mean, it's nuts. And listen, they haven't been. Do you remember the package that they sent Nashville for Tanner Jeannot?
I thought it was an overpay. I remember that.
If I recall correctly,
was that 2 firsts? I'm bringing it up right now. For some reason,
I think it was a 1st, a 2nd, a 3rd, a 4th, and a 5th. Like, I think it was almost the Ricky Williams trade where the Saints traded their entire draft 1 to 7.
Yeah, here
for
it
Ricky
is.
Williams.
All right, so traded from Nashville to Tampa for Cal Foote. 3rd round pick in 2023, 4th round pick in 2023, 5th round pick in 2023, 2nd round pick in 2024, and a 1st round pick in 2025. So they got a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and Cal Foote.
And Cal Foote was a 1st rounder as well.
Yeah, he was.
1st rounder, but a 1st round pick in his own right.
And he would go on to play 75 games over 2 seasons and score 8 goals for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So not a great deal. Not a great deal. Now with the Los Angeles Kings, he's got 9 points in 50. Man, they must have really wanted him. Hey, Huss?
Yeah. I mean, again, the Predators said, I mean, they really liked Jeannot. I mean, he was tough. He had that 20-goal rookie season.
With 130 PIMs.
Like, how the hell do we say no to this offer? And listen, hey, Tampa, they take big swings. They've got a lot of advantages being there in Tampa. They've been a winning team. They've got no state tax. So it'll be great. I see Bronco Nick has now changed his YouTube avatar to the Brier Tuck photo. Thank you for the tribute.
Oh, yeah.
And Brandon Tanev being held out tonight as well. So they're without Brandon Tanev. So yeah, no, I do like that Nashville trade. By the way, speaking of trades, we never touched on the Nashville-Pittsburgh trade last night.
Yeah, a hockey trade between two non-playoff teams, essentially. Those are rare at this time of year. You would have to assume Pittsburgh's going to be doing the old flipperoo here, right? Don't you think?
Well, this is the way I read this. Nashville likes Bunting, and they're planning on him playing there next year and see if he fits in. And they've all if guys want to stay in Nashville, I mean, as long as the team's not terrible like they are this year. So I expect Bunting to be a Predator next season. I think Dubas likes Tommy Novak, and Novak's 28. He's been playing lower down in the lineup, but he is a guy actually that I think has some upside that maybe could turn into a player that could play higher in your lineup. So I expect that Tommy Novak will be a Penguin next year. And then I think they take Luke Schenn and flip him. And, if you just saw what the price was for Dumoulin, I think this is some good business by Kyle Dubas. I mean, they get a guy that they like. They weren't going anywhere with Bunting in the first place. So whatever. And I'm not sure that the return for Luke Schenn at the deadline might not be somewhat similar to what they could have got for Michael Bunting. So they're getting Tommy Novak. I think he's sort of part of the future there in Pittsburgh. And then we'll see what they return. But I would be stunned if Luke Schenn is on the Pittsburgh Penguins come Saturday.
Yeah, I agree 100%. There'll be some value there. You know how hard it is to find those guys at this time of year. I'll be interested to see what they're able to flip him for, actually. All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. How, so you expected the Jets to do anything later today? Or is it just busy tomorrow? Or maybe I don't know not whether, busy tomorrow?
Like, listen, I mean, I'm sure Chevy is just exhausting these calls. I think there's a lot of people that would love to get Brock Nelson. And I think Winnipeg is at the top of that list. I think they'll be willing to pay that price. The big question is Lou willing and ready to make that trade? And I think essentially what Chevy's probably doing right now, and this is why I don't really expect it to happen today, unless that is the deal that's made, is that, right now he and other GMs are going to have backup plans if they don't get the guy that's number one on the list. I mean, you can't just say, we want that guy, and if we don't get them, we're done. Like that would be seen, I think, as a real miss by Winnipeg and probably some other teams. Now, Tampa was a team that was rumored to be in on him. Obviously, that's not happening now after the deal that they made yesterday. So I would expect sometime tomorrow morning as to when things are going to pop for Winnipeg. And as far as the blue line goes, I mean, we're really focused in on this 2C spot and potentially, hopefully, Brock Nelson from a Jets perspective. I think the value for those players, particularly rental defensemen, as we get closer to the deadline, knowing that if you don't make the deal, there's no deal to be made, probably gets, because I mean, guys will have a bunch of options right now. That's why I was a little surprised at what Anaheim got for Dumoulin today. I don't know anything about the prospect. And again, they did have a bunch of second rounders, but I mean, a second rounder is, pretty nice draft capital for, a player like that, was, does he have any more contract or no?
Dumoulin? Let me see. I'll check it up. I'll look at it quickly.
UFA. And Penner's Pancakes talking about Brandon Tanev. Yes, he has by far the best picks on Hockey DB.
Yeah, he looks like it. He looks like a psycho
every year. Plays like a psycho and then looks like a psycho in his pictures.
You know what? You got to buy into who you are. And that's who he is. Dumoulin, no, he's a UFA, so he's a rental for them.
So that'll be good. Yeah, Novak will be a good third-line center for Pittsburgh. I agree. And Dubas said he's already likely keeping Schenn. He's basically the third pairing replacement for Desharnais, only better. I mean, I guess, but like, what's Pittsburgh keeping any 37-year-old right now if they can get something for him?
Yeah.
Like, bring a guy up from the American League. I mean, I don't think they particularly care about winning games right now. The better a pick they can get, the better a situation it is for him. So I will stick to my guns, even if Dubas has said that, and think that someone will pay the price for Luke Schenn, because we've heard quite a bit. There's been a lot of interest in Schenn, both Schenns, to be honest. I know the guys in Toronto are all horny for Braden Schenn. And of course, the Leafs. I mean, the Leafs are pretty much mentioned for every single player that is out there. I mean, we're all talking about him coming to Winnipeg, and then it's like, would Brock Nelson be a fit for the Leafs on the front of TSN? But anyways, I did catch some of that Leafs Vegas game last night. Tough night.
If you're the Leafs, how we got about 3 minutes left, but how active? You're seeing Florida, they're loading, or they're adding at least. Tampa just made the big deal. You're right there with these teams. And you've got the new coach compared to the last few years, so maybe some different playoff expectations. Should the Leafs be really, really aggressive before tomorrow's deadline?
I would imagine so. I mean, Jake's in the chat. He's the
Where are you, Jake?
Member of
What's
Leafs
the
Nation.
Answer?
Like, Jake, what would, if they weren't able to make a significant ad? How pissed off would he be? I bet it would be 10 out of 10.
He'd lose it.
And the insiders would be pissed off. I mean, that's a fan base that has big expectations. I mean, they've been basically in first all year. But when, two very good division rivals make significant upgrades, it sort of lays down the gauntlet to Brad Treliving to be able to go and make something happen. And as I said, this next, 30 hours, or not even 26 hours, really is going to be fascinating, as it pertains to teams like Toronto, teams like Winnipeg that are legitimate contenders and have basically earned their spot in the playoffs and are now jockeying amongst the best teams. I'd throw the Dallas Stars in there as well. Is there much expectation that the Oilers can do much more right now? Or, I mean,
well, as Jake just said in the chat, for the Leafs, it's likely player in, dollar out, player out. Very similar in Edmonton. So they're going to have to get creative like they did on the Frederick deal. But if they don't add a defenseman tomorrow, the city's going to lose their mind. So they're going to have to do something. They just simply have to.
That is a nice advantage for Winnipeg on just about every other team right now in the mix. I mean, Chevy has played the salary cap so perfectly this year. The Jets have $12 million in cap space right now. So they don't have to move guys out. They don't have to get a third team to broker any deals. They can take on a couple significant contracts, add them to the lineup without doing anything else right now. So that is something that, I think Winnipeg has going for them that most of the other contenders do not have. You got anything else you like tonight outside of the parlay? Let's see if it's up, by the way.
I got to put together our Coolbet play of the day. The EST parlay is up. McDavid 2 points, Draisaitl 2 points, Hyman point plus 300. So if you want to hop in on that, you can find that over in the exclusives page.
I'm trying to think if I like that better. Do I like that better at 3-1 than McDavid plus 265 to get 3 points tonight? Like 3 is a lot in a game. 2, 2, and 1. Maybe I'll ride with you on the ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, it's there. It's there for you if you want it, Huss. You can find it over in the exclusives. What's coming up on WST here, buddy, as we get ready for Two Guys in the Goal?
Oh, our buddy JP Vijay is going to jump on, JP Vijay, and talk about what it's like to be a player in these rooms in and around the trade deadline and give his thoughts on, what the Jets may or may not do, what he'd like to see them do. The return of the power play, and just getting out of this little funk that the team is in. And Murat Atesh is going to join us from Philly. We'll set up tonight's game and get the latest on what he's hearing from Jets HQ on the deadline. And obviously, we'll get to the Coolbet lines, talk a little more about what we've got going on. I will try and put together the patented afternoon delight from Brier Tuck, and then get ready. We got an early one tonight for Jets and Philly. So get into that game, and then all systems go for tomorrow. So gang, don't forget, Sunday night, 8 p.m. Winnipeg, 7 p.m. in Edmonton, Lock Shop Poker Tourney. Join us. It has been so much fun. We'll have a bunch of tweets on our social media as to how to get in if you haven't played with us before, But if you haven't, make a point of joining us. You will not regret it. It's been so much fun. And again, you can try and take us out. $100 bounties on our head, Remus. And we're going to go with Gazzola. I want probably one of those bounties. I'm going to be going after Tommy.
Yeah, go get Tommy's bounty. Go get. He sometimes loses interest early. If he's been in it for about an hour and a half, go get his bounty. He'll be ready to hand it over. So yeah, that'll be fun.
That's exactly the sort of guy you want to be at the table with.
Exactly.
He says, I'm going in or I'm going out. Well, perfect. Come on down. And then, of course, the partner parlay tonight, Nashville, Detroit, and the Tampa Bay Lightning. And that'll be in and around 5-1, I imagine, once the boost is done. But if you do want to add Edmonton, and if you want to add, who is the other team that was minus 244?
Tampa, Dallas. Yep.
You can get that up to a close to 10-1 at plus 966, which I did just jump on.
That is going to do it for the Lock Shop today. We have 2 guys and a goalie coming up. Jeff Skinner, healthy, scratched again, so Max Jones can play. So we'll get into that on 2 guys and a goalie. It should be a lot of fun. Best of luck tonight, everybody. And trade deadline coverage tomorrow at this time over on WST and on EST. We'll talk to you at the tables on Sunday night in the Lock Shop.
Yeah, see you Sunday night, everybody.